So here's a video of my Gulfstar 41 with a pilot house. I'm going to do a video for the outside and a video for the inside. So the Gulfstar 41 is a solid blue water boat. You can tell it's vintage, got the traditional high freeboards, small ports. She can pretty much take anything. So she's been from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Bahamas. Not sure where she's been other than that, but previous owners had taken her pretty good distance. So if you're familiar with the Gulfstar, you won't find one with a pilot house. Gulfstar didn't make one with a pilot house. So in 2015, I believe, I added this pilot house here. It is got aluminum framed windows, tempered glass with screens on both sides. The front windshield has a windshield wiper. The entire hardtop is made out of Nitacor with two layers of 1407 or 1408, something like that, fiberglass on each side, so it will not rot. As we go back, you can see on the stern here we have a good amount of deck space on the stern. At one point in time I had a propane locker or a generator back there, but plenty of space to store stuff. Does not have dinghy divots, but those are easy enough to add. Now, this is a catch rig. I'm going to get back here. And we'll go up here to take a look at the rigging. Now, I can't tell you how old the rigging is on it. Rigging's in great shape, but I did not replace the rigging. I did a lot of refit on this boat, but did not replace the rigging. The only thing I did replace was, see if I can get in here, the addition of a CDI mainsail furler. So I'll show you that a little more here in just a second. But basically you can furl in and out the mainsail from inside the cabin, inside the pilot house. So has a new sail, new furling system on it in 2015. Mizzen sail back here works great when you are in light winds, or if you're anchored. I like to throw out a little bit of the mizzen there, and that keeps me pointed straight. All right, let's move on inside, or move on closer. Now, I bought this boat in 2012. Needed a lot of work. I did a major refit between 2013 and 2016, I guess, somewhere around there. You can see the timeline online. Over the last couple years, probably 2 years ago, I added the anti-skid across the whole boat. Makes a big difference. Now, she is an older boat. Needs some TLC. You'll be able to see here, she's dirty. Boat has not been washed here in a good while. Just kind of pan around here. All right, so we're gonna kind of start here and walk around the outside of the boat here. As you can see, the pilot house there, it's got a windshield wiper on it. All the lines enter the cockpit, and they're not all rigged right now, but you can see there the lines go into the cockpit, so you can control the jib and the mainsail directly from inside the cockpit. And you'll see the winch just inside there, and the rope clutches. All right, so here's the CDI furling system. So the mainsail wraps around that. And again, the great thing about it is you can just pull out whatever you need. So you can reef at any point in that sail instead of just having a couple reef points. You just pull out what you need and and clutch it off. Now you'll notice here on these stanchions, let me get down here. When I did the refit, we raised all the stanchions by about 3/4 or an inch. And basically these older boats with your cleats mounted directly to it had some leak points. By raising them up, water does not stand around them, and therefore we got rid of most of the leaks. It's pretty dry on the inside. Up front, I added a windlass here. This is a 1000, Lumar 1000, I believe. Has a CQR anchor on the front of it, which works great in eastern North Carolina. And the chain and rode was replaced, I don't know, probably 4 years ago. We did replace most of the stanchions with new stanchions. There are a couple of originals, but we had them custom made, and redid all the lifelines. But you can see they've turned yellow. They need to be treated, to get that white color back again. All right, so moving back here, we're going to go ahead and go inside. Now you'll notice this canopy, or the enclosure here. It doesn't take a whole lot of enclosure material, but it is aged, does have a couple cracks in it, so it will need to be replaced. But not that expensive, because you're not talking about a bimini and the top or the sides. Now as we move inside of the boat, we have the helm here. Added a custom teak helm. All new instruments back in 2015. From here we have our, well, here you go, you can see. There is 60 hours, 60.16 hours on the remanufactured engine that's put in there. So the engine is pretty much new, or it is new. Got a Raymarine wheel pilot here that works great. You just lock down the handle there and set your autopilot. Winches control from right here. Up top you'll see a lot of switches. Some of these switches I never got around to doing anything with them, so there's spare switches up there. Everything that it is intended to work does work. Let's see what we got here. So have a nice captain's chair here for comfort. And again, this thing is dirty, needs to be cleaned. So let's go ahead and move on down here. Got a fan in here. Got all of your lights, deck lights and steaming lights and all that good stuff managed from right here. As we're stepping down into the salon here, you can see there's a fold-up table behind the in the cockpit for dining out in the cockpit, and teak cup holders there as well. All right, so if you've ever seen a Gulfstar 41 or any of the Gulfstars from 1974, they look nothing like this, because all of the teak you see here was all added after I purchased the boat. So it's either teak wood or teak veneer over top of it, but it really creates a warm interior for this. So everything here, the entire galley that you see right here, was all replaced because we had to rip this out to pull the engine out. When I did go back with the counter, of course I went back with nice, black marble looking counters, but in this ice box here, this is a very deep ice box. I'm going to start here because what we did was we added 4 inches of insulation all the way around this cooler and underneath in order to handle the tropics. All right, so you'll see there is a cold plate back there. It does need to be recharged because I never recharged it after I reconnected it. But what I normally use this for is, it is so deep in there. You see how deep it is. As this is usually my beverage and my fruit, everything goes in here, And then, of course, there is a full-size Vertifrigo refrigerator, not a full-size, but a Vertifrigo refrigerator over here where I keep everything else. But I can throw 2 bags of ice in there and it'll last 4 or 5 days, you know, so it's kind of like a Yeti, built-in Yeti. It has a drain in there for the as ice melts off, it'll drain right into the bilge if you want it to, if you don't plug it up. So all of as I cruise around here, I'm gonna think about a bunch of different things, and I'm just gonna rattle them off. You can see all the details listed on Gulfstar41.com or sailboatlistings.com. So these all these cabinets were added here, including the one over the sink here. So we added a bunch of cabinetry all the way around here. All the cabinets you see were added. This boat had pretty much like what had the old vintage shelves along each side of the salon. So start over here, got a spice rack, coffee maker, all that good stuff here. Stainless steel sink. We have added new faucets. Have a drinking faucet right here that's filtered water. Underneath the sink is 3 membrane filters that filters the water here. The propane system and the stove here. Now what you're looking at is a pretty neat design. If I say so myself, because I'm the one that designed it. But what I wanted was, when I met at dock, I wanted to be able to cook on electric, so I wasn't using my propane. So I added this nice little electric ceramic top stove here, which can run one burner can run off of the inverter with no problem. All right, when you're away from the dock. Upping the inverter and maybe some more batteries would help it, but right now it has 550 amp hours of house bank, and then of course a starter battery. But here's the cool thing. So when at dock, we have the electric stove. If you grab it and raise it up and latch it, well, now you still have your full gimbaled gas stove for when you don't have power. But I rarely use it because, like I said, I can make coffee and cook on the stove at the same time with the inverter. Now, you do have to be careful. Again, the house bank is only 500 and is a 2,000 watt inverter, so if you're going to run the microwave, you shut something off. But that's just the size of the bank. All right, so let's cruise on around here. We have an inset smart TV here, Roku TV. It actually, I'm not going to pull it out now, but there's an articulating arm on the back side of it with a computer VGA cable or HDMI cable, can't remember which one, but I built it that way so it swings all the way around, and it can be a monitor for your computer, or a second monitor for your computer while you are sitting at the setting. So again, you'll see some GFI outlets there, but the entire just about the entire wiring electrical system was all redone while we had this thing on the hard. Let's cruise on around here. There is storage, ample storage under these seats, and you can see there, I mean, you can see how clean it is. While I had this thing on the hard, I epoxied the entire bilge and all of the compartments. Let's see, over here we have, of course, you'll notice that the couch has been cut down. I had to do that because underneath that chart table right here, and you can see there's a chart compartment in here, but underneath that is a 24,000 BTU Webasto heat and air conditioning system. So, and it's duct through every cabin. You can even see there in the V-berth, and when we get back to the aft cabin, you'll see that it's duct back there. Now that's a huge AC unit, and it will, on a 90-degree day, it'll bring it down to 62 in here in North Carolina. So it heats the boat just fine as well. Now in the wintertime, when you are running the heat, great thing is heat runs right up through that in there to the pilot house. Keeps you nice and toasty. There's a fan mounted right here, so when I'm running the air conditioning during the summer, you hit that fan on and it takes the air coming out of that vent and pushes it right into the pilot house as well. So that pilot house really adds livable space year round. Used to be I could cruise from up until November in North Carolina. Thanksgiving Day was my last cruise. Once I added the pilot house, I was able to cruise on into February. So, all right. So good size lockers, hanging lockers. Here we have the front head. Now that's an electric toilet. The aft toilet in the aft cabin in the master is not electric, but this one's electric, and it's all plumbed all the way back to the holding tank, which was again not part of this boat when I bought it. Now in the V berth, new cushions, new pillows were made. The cabinetry that you see on each side was all added for extra storage, because this was going to be a liveaboard. Got a TV mounted back here. So you got plenty of storage, and that would be the anchor locker right behind that big pillow there, and have a hanging locker back here as well. All right, moving forward, let's see, forgot this little wine rack up there. Moving towards the back of the boat again, this side over here. So we have plenty of storage here. We have behind here, this is where I kept all the canned goods. So there's storage behind this piece right here, and there's storage underneath this settee as well, underneath that couch as well. All right, so we talked about the chart table here. This kind of chart table, entertainment area, whatever you want to call it, all these drawers were added. They are nice on soft close drawers. Got a microwave, refrigerator, and up here is the charging station. So I added all this so I could keep everything charged. Plenty of 12-volt sockets here. We have a Android tablet right here, and it is used to replicate the B&G chart plotter that goes at the helm. So from here you can control the chart plotter while you're down here. And I like this because when I'm down here, if I step away from the helm and it's on autopilot, I can still see my chart and everything here. So, added some outlets here that have USB for charging when you're at dock. Got a Fusion radio here. We'll take a USB or a auxiliary input for music, but it is NEMA 2000. It is wired directly into the NEMA 2000 network, which means that you can control the stations and the source and the volume and everything from the chart plotter when you're at the helm. Of course, down here we have Bose speakers, and in the cockpit area we have a second set of speakers. They're on two different zones. So from the Fusion or from the chart plotter, you can crank up the music in the cockpit and crank down the music inside. So you have two different volume levels there. All right, so got some more storage here for the galley. Have a pull-out trash can here, and a counter extension that lifts up as well. I know I'm going to forget something here. All right, so we're going to start moving. We're going to start moving aft, back to the aft cabin. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see we have. Let me just open this. We have plenty of storage here. Got my fishing rods and stuff in there. And there is, as you can see, we have our air conditioning duct. This area right here is where keep all of the fluids, right? All right. And let me open this up here. Let me turn on the light here first. All right, so I'm going to step back here. All right, as you start entering the hallway to go to the aft cabin, we have two doors down here. Now, this is our access in order to access the engine. Now, the front of the engine. So, you know, here's where our water pump is at. Here is our strainer right there, easy access. Have a, you probably can't really tell what it is, but there is a engine-driven bilge pump there as well. So I have an emergency switch that I built in there to allow me just to suck. You know, if I have a major, leak from the bottom, then I can just, and the engine's running, I can just flip that over and it'll start sucking out of the bottom of the bilge there. That's just an emergency. Now, we have a 100 amp so this engine here is was built, remanufactured by Foley Engines, one of the largest diesel remanufacturers for Perkins on the East Coast anyway. Might even be one of the largest in the U.S. But, so this engine came, everything, and I did not keep anything from the original engine. So everything from the heat exchanger is brand new, water pumps, alternator, even added a Borg Warner, I believe, air separator. I think that's what it's called. I think that's the brand. But it's an air separator to keep your clean air going into your engine here. Let's see here. Here is that right there is a water flow alarm, and you'll notice that the wires are just taped up there because I never got around to hooking up the actual alarm. It's on the boat, just needs to be hooked up, but it's already plumbed in, ready to go. And that would sound off a very loud alarm if your water stopped flowing. So if you got stopped up, you picked up sucked a fish or something up into the intake underneath in the through hole, that would alarm you. All right, so we're going to close this, and we're going to walk down here and open up the engine room door. Now, I like this engine room better than my current boat, because you can just get in there and work, and I'll show you what I mean here. All right, so we're going to open up the door here, and I'm going to squat down here, and you can see I can get around this engine. That right there is the battery box with the house and the starter battery in it. The engine, the transmission and shaft and everything here the transmission was rebuilt at the same time that I ordered the remanufactured engine. So that means the transmission has 60 hours on it as well. Let's see, what else do we do here? Yeah, like I said, everything, oil coolers, everything was all replaced with brand new. So let's see here. Up here, that is a engine room heater. You can plug that up and it comes on at 35 degrees. It might be handy for up north. Water heater was added same time. You can see all the dates that these things were added on my timeline on Gulfstar41.com. But again, pretty much all new wiring, all new plumbing. We have a whole house water filter right there that filters everything coming out of the tank to all spots on the boat. We have here is our inverter. This is a 2,000 watt master volt inverter, and that is what like I said, can drive the stove, one burner on the stove at a time. The entire muffler system was all replaced as well. This was all rebuilt new. Holding tank was added, I think, in 2013. All new plumbing for that as well, with the nice Shields vac waste hoses. So no smell. All right, what else we got here? All right, now as you can see, bilge area all looks pretty good. Now this is an older boat, so you get down here, there is a little water standing in the bilge, and that is natural for this boat because the anchor locker has a drain. That water makes it into the anchor locker. It drains straight on down to the center of the bilge. You could change that. I thought about changing it, but never did. All right. So now let's take a look here at our electrical panel. Now again, if you've looked at any Gulfstar 1974, any boat 1974, it does not have a nice Blue Seas panel like this. So all of this was added. So what we have here is 12 volt and 120 volt all built into that one panel. With your gauges, there's your master volt controller for your inverter. Now the inverter, when you plug up to shore power, the inverter or when you unplug from shore power, the inverter is set right now on automatic, so it'll automatically come on. That means you pull away from the dock, you can watch TV, make a pot of coffee, whatever. You can change that setting on the master volt, I think. Here we have a battery monitor and we have bilge monitors. Now you can see here, I haven't been on the boat here in probably 4 weeks, but we have had no bilge cycles since then. So again, a lot of that has to do with us sealing the deck real well during the refit. And then we have bilge alarms here as well that will go off if the bilge runs too long. Up top is a PepLink travel router, which can take a SIM card or take USB or cellular dongles and use that as your Wi-Fi. You can see here I have a US cellular hotspot. It's not active right now, but all you have to do is go down and get a SIM card for it and make it active. Or maybe you carry it in and they make it active. I'm not sure, but all that comes with the boat. So now we're back in the aft cabin. Now, a real nice large hanging locker here. We have 2 drawers under each of the bunks. Now the bunks here, you will see that it's laid out as 2 individual berths. There is a centerpiece that can go in there and another cushion that I just have to bring to the boat here, which then kind of turns this into a queen size bed. So it's up to you. I just took it off so the boat would look a lot cleaner. So here we have redid all this. The sides here were all refinished. Cabinets were added, so we got good storage on both sides of the bunk, outlets on both sides for charging, so forth. Have a fan on both sides of here to keep circulation going. Have another TV back here, and then we have a nice hatch here that we added and a screen for it. All right. So now let's talk about this aft head here. So the aft head here had a full big old sink in it, and there was really no shower room. I mean, you had to shower and over top of the sink and all that kind of stuff. So what I did, and you can't tell because I have all the sails stacked in here, but underneath these sails here, I created a shower pan, and we now have a full shower head here. So you have about, you've got a full shower stall in here. It's not a separate stall. Just didn't have room for that. But, it's plenty of room to shower now. Because what I did was I chopped off this counter here, built a new counter, new sink, everything, but I just made it a lot shorter. So in here, I have all the sails stuffed in here. There are the screens for the Pilothouse door. Miscellaneous stuff in here, but yeah. So added this nice linoleum here, kind of give it a bathroom feel. What else do we want to? Oh, we have a door here that's collapsed right now, but it slides over right here. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this wonderful boat? There's not a whole lot of storage underneath these two berths here. There is like two little compartments, but the big thing is the rudder and everything is right under here. So all your gears, all your steering and everything comes back and it's right under there. There is the ability to the rudder has a hole in it for attaching a emergency tiller. You can make one. There was one that came with the boat, but it was just falling apart, and I never rebuilt another one. But you can very easily make yourself an emergency tiller if you want one. I just saw my battery switch there, which reminded me there is a automatic charging relay between the house bank and the starter battery, so they will keep each other charged as long as there's juice flowing into one of them. Let's see what else we got here. I think that's pretty much going to be it. We're at about 31 minutes here. Sorry to have taken so long, but there is so much about this boat. Now you will notice that there is outdoor carpet in here. My plan before I bought my new boat, my plan was that I bought this carpet, I cut it just to give me a comfortable feel under my feet in here. The long-term plan was I was going to, after I cut all these patterns here, it's all cut perfectly, I was going to pull this out and put lawn seal down, which is a vinyl teak and holly. It's a teak and holly look vinyl. So if you want to do that, this carpet here is already your template. You just buy the lawn seal, buy the roll, lay it out on the driveway, take this carpet here, lay it down, and then cut this pattern, and that lawn seal will fall right in here. That was my plan. What else here? All right. Well, I think, didn't cover that. There's a, we'll get out there and we'll talk about the electronics next. So right here is a RAM, a remote VHF mount here. You can control the entire VHF from down here. That way you can communicate while you're in the salon. So let's now take a look at the electronics. So we have a B&G chart plotter that I bought new in 2015. And it's color touch. And it mounts right up here. And the standard Horizon VHF here has built-in AIS. So it is networked with the chart plotter, so it will lay AIS over top of your chart. On the mast, everything's been replaced. I mean, we have all new, as far as your instruments go, all the analog stuff was pulled out of here, and it's all NEMA 2000 now. So we have NEMA 2000 depth finder. On top of a mast, we have an Airmar, I believe it's Airmar or Marlton. It's a Marlton sensor, wind, speed, wind direction, and temperature instrument on top. Has no moving parts. Of course, we put a brand new VHF antenna up there as well. New depth finder, all that good stuff. And what else can we do here? So all the winches were changed out to self-tailing for, these here are used for your jib. And then we have a self-tailer right there. The ones on the mast, since you don't use them anymore to raise the main, they're not self-tailing, but they're all still good serviceable condition. I have a propane locker here underneath the seat here that holds a standard size, not a standard size, it holds a good size. I was going to say it holds a standard household size tank, which I believe would fit in there, but what's in there is about half that size. Over here we have good storage as well. And I think that's going to be about it. All right. That's about all I can probably tell you here. Again, this is a 1974, and I did all the major refit stuff myself. However, I still had a list of things that I wanted to get done. I started replacing windows. I replaced 3 windows. I have a 4th one that has not been installed, but I was going to replace them all just because they look old. I don't know if you're a single sideband kind of person, but there is a single sideband antenna right there. There is no single sideband radio though. And what else we got? I have a digital antenna up there. Camera does not work, by the way. There's a loud hailer there that works off the VHF, and then there's a digital TV antenna that is connected to the TVs downstairs, and you can pick up however many digital channels are in your area. All right. Well, I want to thank you for letting me show you my Gulfstar. And if you got any questions, go to Gulfstar41.com. You'll find my telephone number.